Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is good to have you with us today here in the workshop of Wood Spun Round. It's a grand day here in northern Kentucky. The clouds are overcast in the sky and keeping things a little cooler than what they have been, and so it's been good. Time for some. Oh my goodness, I know what that is. There it is. Holy cow! Hate it when that happens. Anyway, gonna turn my hashtag week piece. This month it is Oriental Inspired, and so what I've got here is a piece of hackberry. Pretty sure it's hackberry. It's had some worms in it, some interesting places. This piece is, well, if I change the camera, you could see it. It's about 8 3/4 in diameter. It's roughly 4 1/4 at this wide spot. And down here where it narrows down, it's about 2 inches. So we're not going to get a massive pot. This is going to be an Oriental serving pot, uh, but it is what it is for right now. It'll be a little undersized, but anyway, that's okay. I want to bring you over here and show you who all's with me today. There we go. We've got Pete, Wayne, and
Oh,
Queen Ruby going to be with us today. uh, these guys are going to be with us today, and they'll let me know who all is in the chat, but they'll also answer any questions or
Yeah, I'll
relay
do that if you
questions.
like.
What? What?
Ruby, you're muted at the moment.
Yeah.
That's better.
We're having all kinds of fun. Ruby got kicked out a while ago. Then her phone started ringing. Oh my! Anyway, I'm gonna put you guys back in the background. Y'all can flip a coin
Good
to see
idea.
who's going to read out the chat, and we're going to get started on turning this.
I'll do the chat if you like.
yep,
Okay.
I think you could do a better job.
Okay, tonight for your delectation, we have Andy from Door 60. We've got Pete from Twisted Trees, and it always seems to be morning where Pete is. Obviously, Doug's here. Alex Wurzel, the wood butcher, is here. I'm in. Malcolm Douglas is here. And Rob from Klingsport. Evening, Rob. How are you doing? Just going down. Mike Evans is in. Good evening, Mike. I'm still going down. Oh, the chat's just jumped. Ruby just said hello. Good afternoon, evening to everybody. Roger Wallam's here. Evening, Roger. Don't think I've
Hey,
seen your
Roger.
name before. Welcome. And Ward's here from the west coast of Arizona. Evening, Ward.
Hey, Ward.
Wivy's in. Wivy Woodshed. Good evening. James Crawford. Hiya, James. And Gav's in. Gav said he would work.
Hey, Gaff.
Roger Kent. Jennifer's here. Jennifer's Crafting
Hey,
Creations.
Jennifer.
Evening, Jen. How's it going? Chris Walters is here. Fred Gilver. Andy, the Valley Wood Turner. Good evening, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Where's Lucy?
Lucy, you got splaining to do.
Oh, Rob from Klingspor has just
Mm-hmm.
received some slate from Andy, the Valley Wood Turner. I think that must be. Nice one. Anthony Green's in. Evening, Anthony. Barry Chitty. Tim Ponder. Yeah, I'm doing not too bad at the moment, Jennifer. Thank you for asking. And Rex is in. Hi, Rex. How's it
Hey,
going?
Rex.
He's 50% done on the radiation treatments. Oh, nice one, mate. Nice one. Hope it's going well. Graham Haynes in. Susie's here. Hi, Susie.
Hey, Susie.
She's saying, good evening, everybody from Llanberis. I don't know if that's in Wales or not. It sounds like it should be.
Yeah, I left Susie in South Wales and she was going to the north in the rain today.
All right, okay.
Must be a rain break. A little more speed here.
And Ruby has said to Susie, "Hi, Susie, you survived your lesson with Mark." Jennifer saying hello to everybody. Chris Walters is asking, what wood are you turning there, Doug?
This is a piece of hackberry. Here in this part of the country, hackberry grows very large. Um, and when it dies, it spalts very quickly.
Okay. I
Lucy
think
has
I actually,
joined us.
if I remember rightly, I think Rex B actually sent me some hackberry at one point, which
Could
was,
be.
I've got to say, very nice to turn.
Yes,
Walt,
it is.
yeah, Walt Wybrew Woodworking's in.
Hey, Walt.
Michael McEwen has just joined us.
Hey,
I
Michael.
didn't notice that. Nice one, Ruby. I'm still scrolling down through. Oh, and Marcel's in as well. Good evening, Marcel.
Hi, Marcel.
All right.
Susie's saying her internet there is very slow. Yeah, thank you all for the welcome and typing very slow on the cell phone. She misses her keyboard. Tim Ponder's in. Did I already see that? I can't remember if I said that or not.
Hey, Tim.
Pete, you now have a knitting club.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I was just going to say that Pete has just said hi to Rob at Klingsport Abrasives UK. Got my care package addressed to the Twisted Knitting Club.
That's
Nice
good.
one, nice one.
It's got a couple of Pro Edge belts, new style, which need testing, but we could have had Susie
Yeah,
here and we've been riding. I haven't got round to do anything with them yet, but we'll do that
well,
tomorrow.
well, Pete, I got those. If Rob, if you're talking about the same belts, I got those belts from Rob. I don't know, a month, 6 weeks ago. They're absolutely brilliant. I've got to say,
Cool.
they really are.
Well, I've got Rob's
Um,
standard belt, so I've just got to compare one against the other, really.
yeah. Susie is replying to you, Ruby, saying yes, Ruby. The lesson was awesome, and she learned a lot.
That's good. I'm
Great.
glad to hear. Mark's a good teacher.
I got to say, I did ride down with Susie and I spent the night with Mark and we drank a lot of beer and cider. So I
That
was
sounds
hoping
like
he'd
it.
be broken before he had to do the lesson, but he survived.
No, Lucy's here as well. Did I miss Lucy coming in?
No, I,
I
I
apologize.
mentioned she was here.
Yes, Ruby
Sorry,
did.
Ruby. I apologize for that.
That's okay. You're forgiven this time.
All right.
Thank you.
Got my tenon ready. I've got my foot ready. Now
That's
it's just a
me
matter
down
of
to the
shaping my
bottom.
bowl. Very good. Very good. Welcome every one of you. It's always good to have a big group of folks in. We're sharing with.
Jennifer. Sorry, Doug. Jennifer's just asked me a question. Am I going to Harrogate? I am, Jennifer. I will be doing stuff on the Klingsport stand. I will be on there at the Klingsport stand. I'm not too sure. I've still yet to confirm with Dan from Taylor's Murfield if I'm doing a demo on Taylor's Murfield stand as well.
Okay. You see this line here. The top of this piece of wood contains the pith. Right there is the pith. You can't hardly see it, but you see where I've put some glue in the cracks. On the other side, the same thing. The pith is right on the edge. some cracks that I've put some glue in just to satisfy that. While I was doing that, I found in that hole right there, that's a wormhole, there is a massive grub down in there. So the grub is gone. He's gone to the Netherland, and as long as he's away from me, I'm happy. But I'll be turning the top down to that line so that I know where the top is going to be. So we're in great shape there. So just get some
That's
shape on this here.
that's a good idea, Doug, to do that. Saves headaches
From
down
what
the
Doug
road.
said earlier on, that worm was about 6 foot long.
It was.
No lie.
Yeah, he probably used it as a fishing bait.
If they weren't so gross, I probably would try that. But they are just nasty.
A chap who
Right.
first taught me how to make bowls, that's what he used to do, is he'd collect them in a jar and then he'd go fishing afterwards. Ah, Mark has joined us. Hey, Mark.
Evening,
Hey,
Mark.
Mark.
And Bert's Bowls has just joined us as well. Good
Hey,
evening.
Bert.
Evening, Bert.
Hi, Bert.
Hiya, Mark.
I'm amazed. Excuse me. I'm amazed, as dry as this wood is, how nicely it's cutting. But as Wayne said a while ago, hackberry does turn very nicely.
It really
It
does.
really does.
It sounds like a wood that wouldn't turn nice just by the name of it, but it really does. All right.
And Benjamin's just come in and he's eating pizza.
Another
Oh,
deep
here,
wormhole
Ben,
right
I'll
there.
take a piece.
I don't know what I got
Well,
here. I think.
he didn't actually say he was eating pizza. He just says he's got it on his lap.
Could be having a conversation with it.
It'd probably be about walnut then.
Probably, yeah.
You could probably plug that hole with something.
Probably could. I had some glue in it, but it's soft. Must be the glue that was down inside. There was one hole that it just kept going into, and I was thinking it was going somewhere else, and I think I found where it went.
Is that super glue?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now I've explained this before. I did this on one of Emma's live. In fact, no, I explained to Emma when I met her one time. What happens with super glue is, if you notice, when you've got super glue in the bottle, it always stays liquid. Okay,
Oh, you
because
Another
it's
found
got a,
grub.
because it's got a covering over the top of it. Now, what happens with super glue when you put it into cracks? If they are big cracks, and then cover it over the top with something else, like if you put a medium super glue in, and then cover it over with the thin super glue, and then
Yeah.
seal that with the sealer and everything. That super glue inside is still liquid, and it will stay liquid because
Yes.
it doesn't have any access to the air to make it go dry. That's what happens with super glue. You've got to be very careful using super glue when you're putting it in deep cracks to make sure it dries properly first.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
best to put it in thin layers and make sure each layer dries before we put the next layer in.
I just sprayed some accelerator in, then some medium CA, then rubbed some shavings in there. I'm not sure why I'm taking so much time with this right now because it's all going to get cut away.
I usually use two-part epoxy to put in rather than super glue.
In sort of very bug holes, I would agree with that, Ruby.
Yep.
As long as you can get the epoxy down to the bottom of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, that's a
The
chemical
other
reaction which you've already started, so that will harden no
yeah,
matter what.
but the other thing to remember is, until you get down to the final shape of the bowl, what's the point in doing anything?
Right.
Oh, that's going to be a pretty spot right there. I know you can't see it, but there's some movement right there in that little spot. Spalting there, spalting there. This is going to be a lovely piece.
I agree with what you just said, Wayne, but I like to put glue into cracks about 3 cuts before the final cut,
Yeah.
so that any staining gets cut away and the glue is down
Oh
in the
yes.
cracks.
Now, funnily enough, in the chat I was in earlier on this evening, it was Chris SG from down in Cornwall. Had been doing the piece and put some super glue on and some shavings on top of that, and then all of a sudden he remembered he hadn't put any sanding sealer on. There's two ways of doing this. For a final cut, when you're using super glue, you can use super glue directly onto the wood if you're going to do a final cut with the gouge to get rid of it, or you can put sanding sealer on the wood, then use super glue, and when you sand it off, you won't have any residue staining on the wood.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I found works best is to put the sanding sealer on first.
Doug, for
Yeah.
any newer
Absolutely.
tuners tuning into this, can you just explain what you're doing there?
I am cleaning my toolbar. Got a little super glue on it and was causing my gouge to stick. So just cleaning it off, getting it nice and clean and smooth, so I can get a nice smooth edge across there. If I don't, whether if you've got a forged tool rest that has nicks in it, or if you've got one that has this hardened bar on the top like this one does, anything that causes that tool to not slide smoothly will be transmitted into your surface. So just
Yeah.
wanted to get that good and clean.
In other words, it's going to go bumpity bumpity bump.
Yeah, that's one way of saying it.
Exactly, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Lucy put a comment in a wee while earlier. Mark, did Pete lead you astray on Sunday night? Lucy, Mark does not need leading astray when it comes to drinking.
I have to say, Lucy, I was on the bike, so therefore I had zero luggage capacity to bring beer with me. So all the alcohol was provided by Mark. So it was him that led me astray.
As long as you weren't driving it with it in your belly.
Not till the next day, no.
Okay, that's all right then.
And Dale's just arrived from Old Man River Woodturner.
Hey,
Hey,
Hi,
Dale.
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 Good evening.
Excellent. I'm not so sure I don't have another worm in here.
I
Oh no,
don't
that's
know,
the bottom, very bottom.
Pete, when I visited, I don't remember us drinking that much.
No, it's Mark that leads me astray.
He
Mark
never
leads
even offered
everybody
me
astray.
a drink when I was at his place.
Did he not?
No.
He's also
Mark.
tight-fisted, Ruby.
Oh, okay.
He's the only guy from down south that I know that acts like a Scotsman.
I've been accused of that being as how my mom was from Dundee.
Yeah.
All right. I think I got a
Mark's
decent
got
cut that time.
Mark's got short arms and long pockets.
All right, that's a deep hole there. That's the bottom of the hole. Um, and that's the only two holes I've got left in the side. Everything else has been filled in. Because this does have spalting and some other things going on, there's a little bit of a rough patch right in here. That's the only rough patch. Well, there's another one there. Um, but those will sand out. They're so minor, they'll sand out without any problem. That's going to be my foot. I think I am going to take one more pass and start at the foot, come all the way up as best I can.
Poor
Oh,
Mark.
right.
He's struggling with trying to turn some delicate spindles, and he's laughing the whole time he's doing it.
Right. Let's carry on.
That's,
I'm sure we can put him off spindles for the rest of the night.
Well,
that's,
I'm sure we can, yeah.
that's okay, Mark. You know we still love you. That's a lovely cut you're making there, Doug.
Thank you
Nice.
very much.
For me, that's the pleasure in turning is when you get a cut to flow like that.
Now, the thing about the thing that I like about that cut, which is different to the cut that I do, is that Doug is actually doing a pull cut there.
Yep.
That was, yes.
Yes, whereas when I'm doing that type of cut, I tend to use a push cut, and I just, for some reason, I have practiced and practiced and practiced. For some reason, I can't get a decent cut doing that with a pull cut. I've always got to use a push cut.
I find it depends on the wood.
I think I
Some
mostly
wood,
agree with you, Wayne. I think the push cut does tend to give you a cleaner cut, but not every piece of wood reacts in the same way. Sometimes a pull cut is the
Exactly.
answer.
Yes, there is that. There is that. Yeah, exactly.
Looking at the shavings coming off, that cut is going beautifully.
It really is. They are what I call angel hair.
well, that's when you know you have a sharp tool and your technique is right. You know,
Ah,
you might even get good at this, Doug.
maybe
Yeah,
someday. I've got a
yeah. One of
little
these
lump
days.
in right there.
Sorry, Doug. Couldn't
No,
resist.
you're exactly right. I did appreciate what Brian said the other day. Um, he now has his RBT, but that doesn't mean he's fully accomplished. It just means he's in the along the process of learning. There, got that lump out. Boy, that reminded me of Shay.
You never
You think he's
stop learning. I don't care how
exactly,
old you get, you never stop learning because new tools, new techniques are coming out all the time.
absolutely, absolutely. We'll slow that down. I've gotten that up to 1,000 RPMs. I started off at about 750, but had been able to move it up. We're gonna get a little sanding done on it real quickly here. Bring my vacuum up.
See, I discovered yesterday that what Mark needs to learn the most is where the hell he put his tape measure.
Where he put his what?
Tape measure.
Well, that's why I have at least a dozen of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we spent
Ruby, Mark has probably got at least a dozen of them as well.
yeah we spent a good hour looking for a tape measure yesterday. We couldn't find it. He's put it somewhere.
Talking about well, you can't see it there. If I change
Probably the
views,
same place in my car keys.
Ah,
there's
that'd be it. Yeah.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right here in arm's reach, plus a steel rule. Okay,
Well, I had two of my tape measures came back to me the other day. One of my friends that was over doing some turning brought them back. He knew they were mine because they had my name written on them.
So he knew they were yours when he pinched them in the first place. You mean?
Right. Wivey said to Mark that they'll be with the elusive pencil. I eliminated a lot of the elusive pencil problems by putting a little magnet pencil holder on my lathe, on my bandsaw, on my drill press, all over the place.
Yeah, I got pencil pots all around the workshop, and I also have about 7 tape measures scattered around the workshop, of which I can only see 2 from here at the moment. So 5 are hiding.
I did give you one of those magnetic pencil holders, didn't I?
Yeah, I've
Sue?
got that stuck to my lathe with a pencil in it, and one stuck to the bandsaw with a pencil in it, and one stuck to the drill press with a pencil in it.
Oh, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Well, I've got, I think it's around about 6 Klingspor pencils dotted about the workshop in various pockets of my different smocks that I use, so I'm never without a pencil.
Actually, I was clever. I bought 2 boxes of pencils last time I bought pencils. And I came home and I immediately hid one of the boxes where I'll never find it again. So they're pre-lost, which means the rest of the pencils I can find at any time.
That's a good
But
idea.
I bought a box of pencils. I can't remember where I bought them from, and they're absolutely brilliant on paper, but they actually don't work on wood.
Oh yeah, I've
They
had
will
those
not.
before.
Yeah, they will not draw on wood for some reason.
Yeah, it's probably one of the new chewable pencils for children that uses a different compound. It just doesn't work.
Oh no, Mark had 6 Klingspor pencils, cut them in half and sharpened them with a skew of all things. Now he's got 12.
Yeah, the clean ball pencils as they turn up are rather on the large side. I've got a couple here
Yeah,
which
yeah, but the thing is, he has now got 12 Klingspor pencils that he can't find because he's put them beside his tape measure.
yeah.
All right, that's got me sanded to 320, and it feels just as smooth as I've got a line right there. Got to get that out. Anyway, it feels good, but there's a line. Thought I got that out, but I didn't.
Yes, Lucy, they now make chewable pencils. I don't know
Yeah,
how people like uh, Wayne and I survived to this age for all the poisonous things that we had to deal with as kids.
definitely. They make chewable pencils now. They're made from Haribo.
Yeah.
You said that a while ago, and I cracked up. I had myself muted, but that's hilarious. Chewable pencils because they're worried about a little lead paint and graphite. Uh,
We had lead paint and we had graphite the whole time we grew up.
well, sure. How many?
Yet, and
I
yet,
had
yet
classmates that would literally eat pencils.
and yes,
Um,
Rob, I did drink from a hose pipe when I was a kid as well.
Oh
yeah,
yes,
buddy.
and me,
Yep.
Ruby, and me.
Yep, yep. And rode in the back of a pickup truck.
Without seatbelts.
But it was in our news today. There was a teenager here in Kentucky that died because they fell out of a pickup truck.
I guess we had more common sense when we were kids than kids today do.
Now, I
I
think
don't know
what
if we did.
happens.
I just think we didn't have the hunger for news stories of any kind. So if you fell out of a pickup truck, people just said you idiot, and they never
Yeah,
told anybody else.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
true.
part
Very
of it.
true.
right. The thing is, these days, these types of things get put on social media. Way back in the 60s and 70s, even the 80s, people didn't actually know. Okay, somebody fell out of a pickup truck. It would be local news.
That,
It it,
if,
it would
if,
it would
if
it
that.
would go around the neighborhood. It wouldn't get any further.
That's it.
Oh, now Lucy has asked me a question. When I said the chewable pencils made from Haribo, that was a joke, Lucy.
Yes, Ward, that combination does stunt your growth. That's why I'm only 5'2".
Yeah, that would be it. Be the
Yeah, I
next
can read it
beast.
better that way.
I hear tell this stuff won't work unless you show it on camera.
That's true.
And then I just did
I mean,
exactly what
even
we
when you're
talked
not
about.
live, you still got to show it to the camera, even if the camera's not
That's
working.
I sing the
Definitely.
song.
Now,
I sing.
Robert Klingsport has said the only internet we had as kids was the paper boy delivered the daily newspaper. No, we had better than that, Rob. We had tin cans and string.
Well,
Yeah,
we had party lines on the phone too.
To be fair, Wayne, when you started doing lives, you were doing most of your lives with tin cans and string. Your
Well,
internet has improved a lot since then.
now you actually said that on Brian's live on Monday night, and
Yeah.
it is probably true. It's probably true.
And the phone was attached to the wall,
And the phone
and
was
you had
attached to the
and
wall.
you had to crank it to make it go.
Oh my.
I mean, that was a really big deal when it went to a rotary phone. I mean, that was high tech.
Now
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing some movies and things like this, American movies and things like this, where they had actually had the phone on the wall, but the lead from the phone, you could walk all around a huge kitchen with this lead from the phone. What
Yep.
we had was a lead where you could walk 6 inches away from the phone, but
Sure.
no longer.
Right. You're right.
My grandfather, one of his many jobs was as an electrician, and he was one of the first people I saw that had, well, from the wall to the phone, he had a long lead, probably 25, 30 feet, and then from the phone to the handset was another 25, 30 feet. And his phones were the most unusual. You picked it up and you dialed rotary on the bottom of the phone. It was kind of crazy. It's like a freestanding handset.
Hmm.
It was really interesting. I've never seen one like it since. He's the only person I've ever seen that had that.
Mark asked you if that was silent movies, Wayne, and I do remember silent movies.
I remember silent movies. I'm sorry, but I didn't used to hear a lot from them.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, Heather's in from Spirit Wind, Stone and Bone.
Hey, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Good evening,
And
Heather.
her grandmother used to have a party line. And she couldn't, or she's saying we couldn't say anything to our friends without her telling mum.
Mm.
Ben's asking Wayne, when you answer the phone, do you say your phone number? Now, that is a very good question, Ben. We used to say that all the time. I don't tend to say that now. We were just talking about phone calls earlier on before we came on live, and about spam phone calls and stuff like this. When the phone rings, I just tend to say what. Funnily enough, it has happened when family have phoned and said, "Who's that?" But a lot of the time, it is these spam things. So you just say, what? And it tends to be John from India or somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I got in the habit of when I phone my children, they pick up the phone. I said, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
Turn it around on them straight away.
Oh my. I don't know if I ought to tell this story.
Of course you
When I
can.
was in college the first time, my roommate was a joker. Our phone rang in the dorm room there, and he grabs the phone up real quick in one of his playful moods, and he says, "Tapman obituary, or what do you say? Um, Tapman mortuary. You stab 'em, we slab 'em." Come to find out, it was my mother on the phone.
Dear.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Rob's just put in there, Rob from Klingspo. I could never understand as a kid why you had to see your phone number when he answered. I used to think, do you know the phone number they just called? Uh, Very true, Rob. Very true.
Very true. Yeah.
Dale from Old Man River has put in. My grandmother had a Grank washing machine. Now I remember my grandmother actually using a pot stick to do
Yes,
her washing.
I remember those days too.
Now, and if you want to know what apostate is, Google. Search engine, search is your friend.
What are you putting on there, Doug?
I've gone back to alcohol. I did my abrasive paste, and I didn't mean to. So I'm
Just clean it
getting the
off.
wax and oil back off of it. It was clean already, but I'm just making sure. So I'm going to try some black dye on it. If it pulls up, I'm going to go to paint. But I'd rather have the dye.
Well, the thing is, Doug, if you put dye on that and then sand it back, it is going to highlight all of the different grains that are in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one was going to be just solid black.
Doug,
Yes,
do you
it
mind if I
would.
make a suggestion?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Before you go cutting and dyeing, just cut that waste bit off the front by putting your tool rest on that side and just cutting away, just so
I
you can find where the rim is.
I agree. I was going to suggest that too. I find
I'll
it
be back.
makes it visually easier to look at the profile and see
Yeah.
exactly what it's going to be.
I'll be back in a couple of few.
All right.
Promise.
For those in the chat that didn't notice at the beginning, we've got the pith in this rim, which is why so much is coming off. So Doug's
Yeah,
got to trim it back by that. Well, you can see the unfinished piece there.
by taking out the pith, we can reduce the amount of cracking that will happen in the wood.
How's that? That make you happy?
That makes me happy. Now you can see the profile you're colouring.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, I knew where I was going, but I think you're right. That would save me having to come back and do some touch up later,
Yeah.
or even having to cut it back a little further. This way, it'll be one and done. Let's see. Let's see. With any luck, this is going to take without any problem.
What kind of dye are you using?
This is the Intrinsics from Hampshire Sheen.
Okay. I've used leather shoe dye as well, and it works.
Absolutely. That's good stuff.
Only thing I'd say is
There we
be
go.
careful of shoe polishes because they quite often have some nasty chemicals in them.
Hmm. Well, if you had to walk where they did, you'd want some nasty stuff too.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Um, India ink works very well.
Do you know
Um,
why India ink works well?
no, I just know it does.
It's because part of it has shellac in it,
Yes, yes.
which a lot of people don't realize. That's why you can put it on, and after you've written with it, your hand doesn't tend to, once it's dry, your hand doesn't smear it.
Right. Okay.
I'm a
Where?
big fan of using inks. The colours are really
Well,
vibrant.
Pete, you wouldn't be old enough to remember having to use India ink when you were at school and a feather to write with.
No, when I was at school, we had a goose in the corner. We had to get our own feather.
Right. Well, sometimes we cheated and we went down to the end of the schoolyard and we would pick a reed and we'd take our pocket knife and make a pen out of it.
Oh my, it's getting deep in here now.
I'm not joking about that. All of our
Right.
desks at school had a little hole on the top right hand corner for you to put your ink bottle and dip your
Yes,
pen in.
yes, we had those
Okay.
as well.
Now, Rob has come in with a very good question here.
Yep.
Does
Okay.
anyone know if the filters in air-fed masks are good for both dust and vapor, or is it different filters for each? Now, I'll put my point of view in here first, if you don't mind.
Go for
You
it.
need different. You need different filters, Rob. There are filters for dust. There are filters for vapors, and you've got to check on which type of filter you need to use.
I agree.
Pete.
Yep, I agree that there are separate filters for vapors, which generally do not come with wood turning dust masks.
There
Right.
you go. Now, apart from the air feed masks, if you are just getting a face mask, like the 3M type face masks, oh sorry, not face masks, but dust masks. If you were getting something like the 3M ones, you can get different ones. One for dust, one for vapors and things like this.
Yep.
Now, Rob, I don't know. I think I have heard in the past that you can actually stack the filters, but I'm not too certain on that. That's something that I would have to look into, or you being in the industry you're in could look into. But I think I have seen somewhere where you can stack a dust and a filter mask, a dust and a vapor mask on top of each other. Sorry,
Yeah. I think it would depend on the actual
filters.
mask
Yeah.
that you're actually using.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say it depends on the brand of the mask. Yeah.
Chris from Billy Woodworks is in. Good evening,
Hey,
Chris.
Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Just putting a second coat here. The first coat did try to pull up in a couple of places, but not bad. It's dried quite well. Doesn't I don't think it needs to be totally black. Um,
Just dark.
yeah, just dark. And I just finished up my little sample bottle, so now we're going to go to the 250 milliliter bottle. I might better shake that a little bit.
Andrew from Wavy Woodshed has given some sensible advice. Speak to James at JC Safety. He's Emma Cook's brother, and he specialises in safety masks, so he will be able to tell you which filters work with what.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's Emma, the tiny wood turner. That's Emma Cook's brother, who does a lot of stuff with health and safety stuff and things like that. Yet again, I don't know if that was the question from Rob. I would think he knows about that anyway. I don't know if he put that in, question in just to get an answer.
yeah. Some masks you can definitely stack them. Some you cannot. But they are different. The vapor mask, as I understand it, they block a lot of dust, but not all of it. Um, I don't know how that works exactly, but that's what I've been told.
Hmm.
And vice versa, the dust, you can get really good dust masks that won't do a thing for vapor. Well, they
Yeah, I mean,
work on
there's
a
a
different
lot of
principle.
options and a lot of alternate ways of using masks. I mean, I've just gone for the Rutland's mask, which has got the actual filter is on a belt around your waist and at your back. So it's taking air from a source away from where you're actually sanding or making the dust,
Right.
um, which in itself is a good plan. Because
Sure.
if you've got the filters in the dust cloud that you're making, then they're working harder. But
I think it, I think it's the same with everything. If you do, obviously, if you're doing sanding, if you're using the likes of cellulose sand and sealer, the likes of spray paints, things like this, as long as you're in a well ventilated area.
yeah,
It makes a difference, doesn't it?
It's a combination of things. I mean, I've got my extractor running. I've got a dust filter in the workshop. I've got my mask. I've also got a fan that normally sits behind me, away, blowing stuff that's coming from the laser away from me. Um, and I've got a drafty door. All these things work together.
Yeah. I do have, for those who are concerned, straight over there, 5 feet away from my spindle, is a overhead air cleaner, and it does make a difference.
Now, what's that you're spraying on?
This is just some sanding sealer, conversation starter.
That's the conversation starter, Ruby.
Yeah.
You mean a change of conversation?
Mike from Dances with Aardvarks has said, taking a guess that dual filter masks will be more expensive. Like I
Yeah.
say, I'm not too sure, Mike. I've only just seen them mentioned a couple of times in uh, wood turning videos and things like this, so I'm really not too sure.
They are more expensive.
Well, they typically would have 2 filters, so you're going to have, uh, yeah, you got that extra cost.
Yep.
Yep. At the end of the day, you've got to evaluate your risk and make your decisions based on that evaluation.
Yep.
Yeah,
There is no one answer that suits everything.
if you're already 90 years old, you wouldn't really worry about it too much.
Something to be said for that. This is some acrylic crystal clear finish, ultra fast drying, clear gloss. All right, just to get a first coat on it so I don't smear it all over the house here in a minute. We are going to turn this around and get started. And time is slipping away. Isn't it amazing how fast time can go?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're fine, Doug. Don't worry about it. People are still here. They're still watching. Just carry on.
Yeah.
Because of the good
Just
company.
to say, you got 47 watching, but only 21 thumbs up so far. So
Well,
there's 26 of you got the chance to click that thumbs up if you fancy doing it.
I'd click it, except that on my computer, I don't have anywhere to click a thumbs up.
you're in StreamYard, not in Facebook or
Right,
YouTube.
YouTube.
right. That's okay. I'll go back and watch it later and give you a thumbs up then.
There you go. Well, you can skip, just hit the highlights. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just blowing some cool air over it right now just to help speed up that finish a little bit before I flip it around. This will get quite a number of coats of finish on it, sanded between so that I build up a deep shine that's high gloss. Um, the Oriental dishware that I've been looking at, almost all of it has a high gloss to it. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is usually what happens with Japanese. Okay. Steve's hashtag was Oriental, but
yes,
a lot of the Japanese type stuff do have a very high gloss.
Yeah.
right. And as I was looking, it didn't matter if it was Japanese or Chinese or anybody else. They all had high gloss. If they did the color, if it's natural, they tended to be more of a satin at best. Uh, a lot of it did not have any finish.
Now, are you going to be able to show this piece tomorrow in gallery?
I will show it. I don't know if it'll be totally finished or not. Leave some of my sandpaper down here on the floor. Pick it
And
up while I think
Walt
about it.
Walt Wybrew is saying it's looking good so far, but he's got to run now. Good night, Walt.
Bye, all.
These people that have to come and go. No, I totally understand. I totally understand. I watch a whole lot of videos, and there are some that I can. If I just don't have time to watch it all, I don't have time.
No,
So I fully
um,
understand when
There's a
people.
limit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am I am subscribed to that many people that I just don't have time to watch all of them.
no, no, you don't. And there's so many good ones to watch. You have to kind of pick and choose what's of your interest and what's not. Um,
What I find most annoying
Well,
is when you miss a live, but then you watch it whilst it's still processing. So you get to watch the video, but the chat isn't ready yet. I do that
yeah,
quite
yeah.
frequently.
yes.
Now,
Um,
Ronald Todd has just come into the chat.
hey, Ronald.
Hey, Ron.
Alex Wurzel, the wood butcher, has just put in a pack of 8 dual masks for a half face mask. He's found for £135.
Wow.
Whoops.
Alex, if you want to message me on Facebook with that link, I will put it in the chat.
All right, change chucks here because I put a little larger the tenon than what that other one would hold.
Now, Mike has asked, this came in a little bit earlier, but Mike from Dances with Aardvarks is asking, how many bearings are in that live center, Doug? Show the live center again.
2, I think.
I
Let me
think it's
here.
probably 2 as well.
I'll
Most
pull it out
decent
so I
live
can show it
center,
to you.
yeah, most decent live centers have 2 bearings in. Yeah, that's probably got 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one there, one there. I do believe. I believe that's how
Yeah.
that works. And I've had that one for. That was a fairly inexpensive one, and I've had it for a long time. And I did lubricate it here not too awful long ago. First time ever. Use some dry lube on it, and it seems to work perfectly. I never get any heat buildup or anything like that.
Now again, Mike from Dances with Aardvarks has said, Oriental stuff tends to be shiny to emulate the traditional lacquerware,
Yes.
i.e., lacquer made from beetle secretions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the black beetle.
Also, a lot of it is actually made from paper and then lacquered to make it stiff.
True. Well, poor Alex. He said until he found you lot, he only subscribed to about 20.
Yeah, we'll fix that problem.
I've been thinking about unsubscribing to some, but
Now, the thing is with Alex, and I know this from what he said in live chats and everything. So between Alex looking after his mother, and I think he's the main carer for his mother. I think about the only other thing he does is look at YouTube videos.
yeah,
And thank you for that, Alex.
Being a,
Yes,
absolutely.
most definitely.
being a caregiver is not an easy job.
No. All right, that's got most of the top down to place to start working. There's a good bit of wood
Right.
left out here.
Alex has just said again. This is back to his previous comment about the face masks and things. Cancel that. After reading more, it's more about gases and vapor.
Yeah, it's a different sort of filter altogether.
Now, Lucy has asked, how do you know who is worth subscribing to? And
Um,
if you're fairly new to turning, that can be a very difficult decision because there are a lot of people turning who should not be doing lives. They
and
don't they
the other,
don't understand grain direction.
yeah, the other thing to do, Lucy, is you can look at the person's videos before subscribing. So
Yeah.
have a little watch at what they're doing, and if you like what they're doing, subscribe. If you don't like what they're doing, don't subscribe.
It's very true.
And Alex has come back, and I think I knew this anyway. Alex is actually a carer for his wife and his mother.
And Ben said, Lucy, if they don't have an SK114, probably not worth bothering with.
Oh, Ben, you had to do that, didn't you?
I have a little story in support of Axminster's tech support people. I had the SK100 new style, the 50th anniversary version, and it fitted on my 406 perfectly, but it did not fit on my Zebrano. When I screwed it up, I could get a steel rule between the boss and the chuck, and I raised it with Axminster and sent it back, and they've gone into it and they sent me out another one, which
Yeah.
fits perfectly.
Doug, could you change cameras?
Yeah. Sorry.
So I got good support, and
There we
measuring with
go.
my Parkside vernier gauge, which that's an accuracy of whatever. There's a 1 mil difference between the shoulder and the thread between the one they sent out to me and the one that I returned, and that makes all the difference.
No,
So
it
thank you,
does.
Ashminster,
And
for good support once again.
now I've got to say that Peter said there, Axminster is a very, very good company. They made a little bit of mistake on one of the chucks. Um, Pete's done his research, sent back to Axminster, and Axminster have replaced it.
Yep.
That's what you're talking about when you're talking about a good company.
Douglas Mungham's joined us. Good evening, Doug.
Now on it was Alex. Ruby is, and I was talking about this to Ruby the day that Alex, she knows what you're talking about because she cares for her hubby. We were talking about caring for people a bit earlier on, or Alex was anyway.
Yeah, when I go over to visit all my boyfriends in England, I have to put them in a home.
Good evening, Douglas. Yeah, Rob's put in, it's a hard job. Yes, I will totally agree with you there, Rob. It is a very hard job.
Doug, do you have what they call a bottom feeder gouge?
I do.
That might be easier for that last part.
I was just thinking your tool rest is wrong.
Yeah,
I
turn the
could.
Maybe
tool rest
Yeah,
inside.
turn the tool rest in, and
lower it
I,
just a fraction.
well, I really can't go any lower. I mean, I can, but if I have to, well, I can. This bowl is small enough. I can. If by lowering it, my post goes below my banjo.
Oh,
Right.
that makes it hard to move it in.
So if I have it that low, that's as far over to that side as I can go because it's hitting.
Right, you don't
There it
actually
is.
have to lower it. All you had to do is turn it towards the inside of the bowl.
Yeah.
Yes, which
Yeah.
I've done here, and that's much better than what it was. Um,
You don't want
it
to try your bottom feeder?
I'm Um, it's open far enough, Ruby, that I really it's
You
really
can
not
make it with
necessary.
that?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm not having any trouble.
Right. For those of you that don't know, a bottom feeder is actually a traditional English grind on the bull gouge where it doesn't have swept back wings. This is one of the original grinds from Ruby. I've forgotten
From
the
when Wayne was young.
yeah, from when I was young. Yeah,
More like
it
that, where
was
it's more straight up.
yeah, it was I think
Here,
Pete the Child
this is a better example.
from the piece from the article I sent to you.
Yeah, it
That's
will
a
be
much better
about that.
example. I'll use that here in a minute just to show you. Yeah, I'm pretty good on my shape and my size or the thickness. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, there are those who at this point would pull out a large scraper and finish that off, and I understand that. I have no problem with that. Um, I don't know. I've used gouges for so long that I prefer not to use a scraper. And this bottom feeder, or the traditional, this is actually the traditional English grind. Um, it works very, very well.
When you said you'd pull out a scraper, I thought at first you meant you'd pull out a ruler. I'd have pulled it out by now to check my depth.
Oh, I'm a long way from the bottom, but I know you. I know you're a stickler on measuring the bottom, and that's good. That's a good thing.
That's why I've only made one funnel, and that was on purpose. And you know, it was extremely hard to make a funnel on purpose.
You know it is. Yeah.
Tell me about it, Ruby. My first ever live was turning a funnel and I failed. I didn't drill far enough.
Yes, yeah. I
I've
remember
got
that one,
Wayne was
Pete.
there.
No, yeah, I remember Pete was purposely trying to turn a funnel and didn't manage it.
it's
I
tough.
I I had to make a funnel because I needed to pour something into something else, and I needed a funnel. Instead of going to the store and buying one, I figured I'd make one.
Yep.
And that was harder than turning a bowl.
My gauge there said I had about an inch that I could go down if I wanted to. I'm not going to go that far.
Well,
Right now,
you will undercut the bottom a bit.
Well,
for
I've got a
people that
foot.
don't know, for people that don't know, the tool that Doug is using at the moment is a bowl turning gouge. It is called a traditional English bull turning gouge, and it doesn't have swept back wings,
And it has
which
a
is
little
why,
steeper angle on the grind.
yeah, which is why you can get right down to the bottom of the bowl and make a very, very clean cut. This was the original bull gouge.
Right. The
This one
zombie
is.
wood turner has joined us.
Hey,
Oh,
Zed.
Zed,
Hi, Zed.
evening, Zed.
This particular bowl gouge is almost identical to the way it came from Sorby. I don't know
Yeah.
what that grind is. It's maybe 60 degrees or something.
That's
Pretty
that.
straight up.
Yeah, that's about usual.
Yeah. And all I do, I put this on the shelf on my grinder and turn it. That's all I do with it to sharpen it. I don't.
Yeah.
There's no swing or anything. It's just turning it back and forth.
Yeah.
And it you just saw it turns very nicely. The only issue is to get anywhere up on the side, I've got to come way around and come around. So when I'm in the center, I'm just barely beyond my ways. But it does a phenomenal job on that inside bottom.
I'm going to see if I can find the article and put it in the chat. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'll
Now,
see
this
if
is
I
a
can.
link that Alex has just sent me. Goes back to the vapor dust combination masks. So anybody that's interested in a vapor and dust combination mask, that's a link that Alex has found for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to mute
I
myself
really like
again and
the
do some
whole
sanding.
shape. I really like the whole shape of this, Doug.
Thank you. I'm muting myself so I can sand here.
Okay.
So we can all talk about Doug now because he's mute, so we can't answer back.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I did notice today I have to find some new sanding pads, the soft ones.
Oh
My
yeah,
Oh, no.
the
my
ones that
last,
go between the pad and the sanding disc. You mean like the don't know what they
yeah,
call them?
my last one just disintegrated today.
That's because you're heavy-handed, Ruby. You shouldn't be so rough with them.
No, it was my student I had this morning.
I'll let you off then.
Okay, thank you, Pete. He did a lovely job on his bowl. He really did.
It's always nice if you've got a student who can walk away with something they can be proud of.
Well, he brought back the one that he did the last time he was over, and with the finish on it, and it really did look good. And it was just a scrap piece of wood that I pulled out of the garage. But it had a lot of character. Yeah, one thing you have to do here is make sure you get those corners so that you don't cut your hands on them.
Yeah, because that stains the bowl badly when you're trying to turn it.
Especially if you didn't want red there.
Yeah.
I'm not that bad, Zed. He said that turning from me is like learning kung fu from the Shaolin Temple.
Certainly is, yeah. Yeah, the only problem I have with Ruby is she has faith in my ability to colour things and paint things, and I have none.
That's okay. We'll work on it. I have a policy when I teach people, if they're very young children or if they're older people, I don't charge for lessons because their reason for learning is quite different from somebody in their 20s or 30s who
Yep.
want to make a living at doing it. And wood turning is one of the greatest forms of therapy that a person can take up because you're so focused on what you're doing that all your stress and cares seem to dissipate. And it leaves you feeling good at the end of the day because look what you have. You know, a beautiful bowl like this, something you can be proud of a month, 2 years down the road.
Hopefully, you're proud of it years and years down the road.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Right. Okay.
That's
I hope I've got this link right, but I'm just about to put a link into the article that I sent to Ruby about
The
the
grind
bulk out.
turn.
No, the history of the bull gouge.
Right. That was a very enjoyable article.
And it really is. I mean, people talk about scrapers, they talk about carbides now all the time. But this is a history of how the bull gouge was invented way back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Well, I remember this one young turner whose name I won't mention came into his dad's shop while I was there, and Dad, look, I just invented a negative rake scraper. His dad said to him, "Oh, that's nice. So, would you grab me that third tool from the left on the bench?"
Yeah, I know who you're talking about there, Ruby.
Like tools like that have been around long before even Wayne or I were born.
Oh,
And,
definitely, definitely. I
like
mean,
there's not a lot that's new.
no,
I re-
I know who you're talking about there, and he actually got the idea from people who were turning ivory.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when you turned ivory or bone or really dense hardwoods like ebony and stuff, you're better using a scraper than a regular gouge because they react totally different to regular woods like cherry or walnut or maple. And it's like a lot of people were against carbides when they came out. Well, carbides have their place and their use, but you have to understand what it is and how to use them.
right.
And the thing
I
is,
still don't know
carbide,
enough about carbides to make an informed statement on them. I use
but
them
the,
for my hollowing, obviously, and they are
but the thing
excellent.
is, carbides have been used for years and years and years in metal turning.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
why can't they be used in wood turning?
Yeah,
It's a softer material. They are going to cut, and the thing is, they work. Now, when people talk, this is the annoying thing to me is when people talk about traditional tools. To me, traditional tools when it comes to wood turning are scrapers.
that's right. They are. And if you were to go to France, across the street from the Escalon School of Turning, there's a museum dedicated to wood turning. And if you look at all of the old tools from the 1600s, for example, they're all scrapers.
So they are traditional tools. So back in the 60s and 70s, people developed different types of tools for doing different things. That's when basically gouges started coming into things, and now from the late 80s, 90s through to now, people have started using carbides, which are scrapers, but a different type of tool material.
Mhm.
When you're talking about traditional tools when it comes to wood turning, you do have to include scrapers in there because everyone of my age at school, if they were turning a bull, they were using scrapers. They weren't using gouges.
Well, that's only because they'd only let the boys turn back in your day. They wouldn't let the girls do classes.
Wally Dickerman used to talk about his first bowl tools all came out of a junkyard. He'd go get springs and the like and make
now,
scrapers.
now the thing is, okay. Now, when you talk about scrapers and using scrapers, there is one guy, and he is in the chat, and that's Zed. Now, when you're talking about scrapers and wood turning tools, now
He's got a
Zed,
scraper.
do, now he does something different. He
Zed has just
really
put in the
does.
chat that if a scraper is not made from a dozer blade, is it really a scraper?
True.
Yep, exactly, Zed. That's just what I was going to say. When Zed does scrapers, he does scrapers, bulldozer blades. Now that's the way to go.
Well, that was one thing I enjoyed about some of the classes I took in France because we took our old bull gouges and we literally heated them up and pounded them down and made new tools, which were essentially scrapers out of them. And I found that whole process was quite interesting. The one thing that I learned, you don't douse it afterwards in regular oil or water. You douse it into a proper dousing oil.
Yeah,
Mm,
let's get the
yeah.
case hardening, you mean?
A regular oil will splatter and catch on fire, whereas a proper dousing oil is made for hot metal to be cooled in. And I have a gallon of it here, and if you ever need some, I've probably got enough to last me 3 lifetimes.
I
Yeah,
enjoy
the
watching that.
article that Wayne linked, it mentions Peter Child, who was a great engineer, and he did do an awful lot for wood turning by taking existing knowledge and ratifying it, if you like. He came up with the idea of using a four-jaw chuck, and I actually had one of his original master chucks, he used to call them. A bit of an unsung hero in a lot of ways because he did really do a lot for wood turning as we know it today.
He really did, Pete. And he is not appreciated as much as he should be.
No, but if you look at what he's put together there, and Peter Child in general is worth looking up because he did so much in creating the craft that we as we know it today.
Well, especially like with the wood burners and that as well.
Yep. And Zed said, you can douse your scrapers in the blood of your enemies, Ruby.
Yeah, it works very well. I've tried it.
Getting some wax on here and just buffing it out. I'll come back later and do another coat or two. It's coming up okay.
I think it's a lovely little bowl. It's got to be at least 9 inches across, right?
I'll tell you here in a second.
8 and 3/4,
Not
I think
quite.
was a start.
Yeah, it's probably down about 8 inches. I don't have my mark on here anymore, Pete. I can't. I think it was
Can't
eight
read
and
it
three
anymore.
quarter to start with, but I'm pretty sure I took
Yeah, it was a good
at
plan
least
to
half
write
an
on
inch
the edge of the
off.
blank, but there was a flaw.
No, and the wisest thing you could do, rather than trying to keep a deeper bowl, was taking that pith out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now it's not going to. Still almost 8.5, just a hair shy. All right, there is. Here's what I'm looking for. There we go. You can see lots of movement, nice stuff in that piece of wood. I wish we could see. Let's see. I got something. Here we go. This will work.
You have to quit painting your lathe the same color.
Well, I don't have a lot of light on either. Here we go. Now you can see.
Yep,
It's got a
that's
nice little oriental foot. If I turn it upside down, you might see it even better. Still got the tenon
that's
on it, of
nice.
course.
That looks better now.
Yeah, just a little bit of a foot. That's about a half an inch, almost half an inch of a foot that'll sit on. And I'll finish up here after we go off air. I'll make a lid for it. I'll put all this on social media. If I raise that shield, I sound better and let some air in too. I'm amazed how much air these face shields cut off. They cut off a lot.
Yes, they do.
Anyway, nice piece of hackberry. Lots of movement there in the grain.
Um, beginnings of spalting coming in. This hackberry will take on some black line spalting as well, but it starts off with this lighter kind of stuff. Just gives it a mottled look
Mhm.
before it takes off. Ah, I see now. That wormhole goes all the way through. I think that's where I pulled that bug out.
Well, you might have to fill that in.
Well, if I was going to put soup in it, I would, but I'm not going to put soup in it. I will. I'll work on the finish. It'll have a high gloss finish on it. And my plan is, let me get this other piece I can show everybody. Ah, there it is. This is a piece of 2 by pine that will become the lid to go on there. It'll drop down in just a little bit, leave just a hair of a lip on the outside. But I will dye that black, sand it off, dye it red, and then we will put a high gloss finish on that.
Sounds good. I look
Look forward
forward
to
to
seeing that.
seeing it
Yeah,
done.
we'll have it on the
you've
socials hopefully
you've
tomorrow.
got lots of nice comments coming here, Doug.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you everybody. Appreciate that. There's a new name for me anyway. Jock Checker. Glad to
Must
have
have
you
missed
along.
him.
Fred, Alex, Mike. All right, folks. I thank you all so very much. It's been a good day. We've been here hour and 20 minutes now. I'm going to let you go. We've got what we've got done, but that's we'll have more
Ja-
in the hours
Jack
to come.
Jecker is from Texas.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Welcome.
Yes,
Welcome
for
along.
sure.
Welcome along. Do I remember your name on Worldwide Woodturners? I think that's where I remember that name from. There's Douglas, Michael. Hey, Michael. Anyhow, so we're going to go. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it so very much. It's been a lot of fun, and be on the lookout. I'll have that on social media here in the next 24 hours or so. And if you miss it, try to remind me next week, and I'll show it to you next week as well. All right. As Jamie says, all
Excellent.
right.
All
Just say
right.
All
this is
right.
part of SK
All right. All
Craft's
right.
hashtag week, which I believe ends this Friday. So if you want to do
Yes.
an Oriental inspired piece and get that emailed off to Steve at skcrafts at btinternet.com, I think.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Um,
it.
And
then
crafts with a
they will
K,
be
S K
included in
K
his
R A F
video on
T S.
Sunday.
Right. It needs to be there before you go to bed on Friday night so that he has
Yep.
time. He works on that on Saturday. Excuse me.
Yeah,
So,
sure. I think Jacques said yes that he is part of the Worldwide Woodturners.
oh, okay. Good. I thought I
I've,
remembered
I've,
that name.
I've
Yes, I
just
see that now.
noticed Albert Dawson is in.
Albert, hey.
Didn't
I didn't
didn't
get.
notice him earlier on. Evening, Albert.
Hi, Albert.
Gav's reminding everybody hit the thumbs up button on your way out. I would appreciate that. The algorithm appreciates it. It's funny the little things that the algorithm likes.
Yep.
And if you go back in after the live is over, after I've shut it down, you go out, come back in, and you'll be able to put a comment in. The algorithm eats that up. I'm not exactly sure why it is, but it does. It just shows engagement, I guess. So
Well,
anyway, any last words? Pete, you got anything special going on this week?
No, I'm
No,
kind of
I
busy, so I
will.
have nothing done.
I am doing a live tomorrow night.
All right.
I
You have
don't know
your
what I'm doing yet. I've got a couple of ideas going. I'm not sure which one's going to come to the fore, but I will be live tomorrow night.
you got your link ready?
Not yet. No.
That comes just barely before you decide what to do, right?
he's
Exactly.
not. He's not like you, well prepared, Doug.
Well, I'm not all
Yeah,
that well prepared.
yeah,
I knew what I was
totally,
doing this
Ruby,
week.
totally.
I do know that I'm doing a live on the first Sunday of October because Terry is on holiday again.
Again?
Again,
Oh, how unusual!
he goes on at least one a month, right?
Has he
Usually,
come?
yeah,
Has he come back from the last one?
yeah, he's back, but
Yeah,
he comes back already planning the next one. That's the thing.
Oh,
that's it.
Zed's got a premiere today at 3 p.m. Pacific
Right.
time.
Today, okay.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah,
Zed's got a premiere. That'll be for us tomorrow, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. Zed, you're usually on Wednesday night, aren't you? Instead
Tomorrow
of Tuesday.
is Wednesday.
Tomorrow is Wednesday, but this is today. He's coming on today instead of Wednesday.
Yeah, that's in about another hour or two.
Yeah.
No. Hang on. 3 p.m.
It's
today. He's saying is going to be around about UK time, Wednesday nights, around about 10:30.
no,
it's
he's got one
about
coming up at 11 o'clock UK time tonight. Just
Oh
going to
right,
grab the link
sorry.
for that.
Okay, I totally apologize.
Turning Tuesday. Yeah, yeah. No
There's
problem.
the
No
link
problem.
to Zed's premiere, 11 o'clock UK time, 3 p.m. Pacific time.
There you
so
go.
Doug, you and I are halfway in between where Pete and Wayne are and where Zed is, because it's about the same time difference in each
It's
direction.
Yeah.
5 hours from here to England and 2 hours to Zed.
No, if Zed's on, oh, you're right, two
Yeah,
hours.
not quite half, but getting closer to half anyway.
Right.
True.
Lucy has said for Z it's 11 o'clock tonight UK time.
Yeah,
Right. So that's 6 p.m. our time.
yeah.
Hour and a half
Yep.
from now, basically.
Hour and a half. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
hour and a half. Yeah.
Very good. Ruby, you got anything special going on this week?
No, I've got all my jobs done, and my student left this morning just before you're live, so I think I'm all set for the moment.
Excellent, excellent. I've got this to finish, and then I got a couple of things later in the week. I've got a breakfast appointment on Friday. I know those always worry me. I'm not a morning person, but this guy, he wanted to have a morning meeting for some reason, so I'm going to meet him.
I'm
Um,
I'm a morning person, I'm afraid. I like
Yeah.
yeah,
morning.
I'm just not.
Same here, Ruby. I am as well.
That's the
Ruby,
best.
it's always morning in my world.
Or
That's why
Yeah,
evening,
I
or
like
yeah.
your world, Pete.
I am. I think obviously we have noticed that, Pete.
yeah. Good morning. Doesn't matter what time of day or night it is.
That's it.
All right.
It's always morning
Well, we're
somewhere, isn't it?
yeah,
Uh,
somewhere.
Zed said that he needs to retire so he can do premieres earlier in the day. I've got news for you, Zed. You retire and you're going to be even busier than you were before you retired.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I've had to schedule this and get used to it. It took me a few weeks to get used to it. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much. It's been fun. I look forward to sharing the finished product with you. So we're all going to say goodbye. Goodbye, all.
Goodbye.
Cheers,
Good
everyone.
night,
Have a good
everybody.
night.
Night night.